Hey guys, my name is Shirish. So the OnePlus Nord. Now I've used the phone for what 26, 27 days now, and this is not a review. First of all, I've already covered a review or a dedicated video talking about the different aspects of the phone. But by the end of that video, I just spoke about something that I did not really describe that well. I spoke about the experience on the OnePlus Nord, that thing that makes this phone worth buying. And now I'm going to sell the phone. I've used the phone for almost a month now, and I just feel that this is probably the right time I speak about the experience just in a little bit depth and just talking about my relationship with the OnePlus Nord. And for the majority of the part, it has been pretty good, but there have been certain things which have kind of ruined my experience with the OnePlus Nord. So yeah. Now, before getting the phone, I was sketchy about a lot of things. I was skeptical about the build quality. I was skeptical about the cameras. I was skeptical about the performance because why not? It's pretty obvious. And even to this date, people who have not really used the OnePlus Nord, they still feel the same, that this phone is kind of underwhelming. A lot of my friends, a lot of content creators, and I get that because the phone on paper, it doesn't just justify how good the phone is. So when I started using the phone, I instantly noticed the difference in the build quality and the in-hand feel. I mean, what do you expect from a phone with a glass sandwich design and a plastic frame? How do you expect it to feel like? More like the Poco X2 or the Realme 6 Pro or what other phones in the same price bracket, 15 to 20,000 rupees phones. But this phone genuinely feels different. It just feels lighter. It feels better to hold in hand. Again, it still doesn't have that cold flagship touch to it because of the plastic frame. But hey, I'm okay with that. It still feels, better than the budget phones. The same goes for the cameras as well. As I also stated in my initial impressions video and my review video, a lot of people are actually criticizing, a lot of Western creators criticized the cameras on the OnePlus Nord. And I agree, when I got the phone, on the very first day, the cameras were kind of average. But after that, OnePlus went on to pass like a couple of updates, and now the cameras are actually good. In fact, even after having the Sony MX586 sensor, this phone still does perform great. The color science in the pictures shot on the OnePlus Nord has just gone up and up with the updates that OnePlus has passed on. The detail levels, the overall images, the dynamic range, which is already pretty good, it has just improved. Not too much, you won't even notice it, but if you compare the same image, you can, actually tell that, yeah, after the update, the OnePlus Nord has actually been improving. The performance too. I did expect the OnePlus Nord to degrade its performance. I had entirely expected the phone to be choppy or to get laggy after some time. But so far, it hasn't done that. I mean, yes, there are other phones which boast a Snapdragon 700 series processor and they don't lag either. I know that, but I have flooded this phone with a lot of applications. And I had done the same with the Poco X2, and that phone did start stuttering. It just felt choppy. It wasn't really the best of experiences. So I had to go back to a very normal usage. But with the Nord, that hasn't really been the case. The phone feels the same just as it was on day one. But yes, it hasn't just been rainbows and sunshine with the OnePlus Nord. There are a couple of things that have really pissed me up to an extent. First one is the green tint. I mean, now yes, I was one of those first people who said that green tint doesn't really bother me that much. So I'm not really worried about it, and you shouldn't be too. But I couldn't help it after I started using the phone, after I knew that, okay, my unit has this kind of issue. I just couldn't control myself. Every time I went on to use the phone in dark or during night, I just used to notice the green tint, and it was so hard to ignore for me because now I knew that there's something wrong with the phone. Again, this is pretty minor, but this is one of those things which kinda, ruined to an extent my perfect experience with the OnePlus Nord. And there's also the other thing. The phone at times switches back to 60 Hz for no reason. Even if the display has been set to 90 Hz, it goes back to 60 Hz and the phone suddenly feels choppy, and it is really annoying. I mean, yesterday it happened twice. Day before yesterday it happened once. And I'm not sure if this issue is going to be gone after updates, and I don't really know when OnePlus is going to fix this issue, because they clearly haven't acknowledged the issue yet, because they went on to pass the 10.5.5 update and it still hasn't been fixed. The only fix this issue has is to reboot the phone, and it's again not a big deal to just restart your phone, but think of it, you are using your phone, you're just scrolling, you're using your phone seamlessly, and you are expecting your phone to perform seamlessly, and suddenly it just starts lagging. It just feels choppy. That sure is annoying, and it has annoyed me in a lot of occasions. so much that I actually tweeted about this. And I'm not the kind of person who goes on to tweet about every single issue on the phones, but this time I did because this was really annoying me to an extent. But on the bright side, looking at the way OnePlus has passed on the updates to make the Nord just a little bit better, I feel that OnePlus is surely going to fix this issue in particular. Just like they actually minimized the green tint. Okay, I just forgot to talk about that. So after the 10.5.5 update, the green tint on my unit, at least, it has become less prominent. I can still tell that yeah, there's green tint on this phone, but it has just become very less noticeable. And OnePlus did that by bumping up the minimum brightness. Now I'm not sure if it's just me overthinking all of this, or if there are others with the OnePlus Nord who have also experienced that OnePlus has kind of bumped up the minimum brightness on their phones, because they clearly did not mention about that anywhere in the changelog. But yeah, I have been using the phone and I clearly did notice that the minimum brightness now is a little bit more than what it used to be. But yeah, that's how it has been when it comes to the display with the OnePlus Nord. Apart from that, as I have always said, the display is great. I've traveled actually with this phone. I've been outdoors quite on a lot of occasions, and in most cases the phone has been pretty visible. I mean, the screen has been pretty visible. Now, as we are talking about how OnePlus Nord has changed over the period of time with the help of updates, there's also one thing that OnePlus Nord has really surprised me, OnePlus in particular, the brand. The haptic feedback. It was good already, but now it just feels great. One of the complaints that some reviewers or some people had with the OnePlus Nord's vibration was it is just way too subtle, and that was mainly because of the vibration motor itself. The motor, I guess it's not really that much high quality, so OnePlus actually went on to tune it even after the update. Now it doesn't really feel that much subtle. You can feel the vibrations a lot more better now. And it totally depends. Some people may like this change, some people may not. Some people actually prefer that subtle haptic feedback that they had before the update on the OnePlus Nord. But I know many people would actually like this change that OnePlus has made again. Now, throughout this entire month, the phone in terms of battery as well has done a great job. I mean, a good job. I won't say that this is comparable to the budget Android devices out there, but yeah, it's still pretty great. Now, to be frank, based on my experience, if you are planning to buy the OnePlus Nord, don't buy it on the basis of the spec sheet. Don't look at that processor. Don't look at all the stuff. Ask a person who has used the phone. Ask about his experience, and I think that sole thing, it will convince you into buying the OnePlus Nord. I tried my level best to describe my experience. It hasn't been perfect by any means. It hasn't been flawless, of course, but it has been just better than other phones, even after having kind of inferior hardware as compared to those phones. And yes, majority of that does boil down to the great software that this phone has. So yeah, just like I've said in a lot of my last videos, I'm going to say it again for the last time, because again, I'm going to sell this phone now, maybe today or tomorrow. The OnePlus Nord has actually surprised me. And honestly speaking, with most phones, the thing is that these phones look actually great on the spec sheet, or when it comes to the user experience, these phones, they suck. They're not just that much good. They're kind of underwhelming to an extent, but this phone has just been opposite. And I'm just wondering what would have been the case if this phone had superior hardware. I mean, the experience, it just would have been better. It would have been flawless, I can also say that. But yeah, nevertheless, my experience with the OnePlus Nord, even after a month, has been just great. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope the video helped you. I don't know what kind of video this was, and yeah, that's it for this video. Catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.